Hey realtors, brand new, 10 years in the business, 20 years, it does not matter. Watch my YouTube channel, Taekwondo Realtor, real-time teaching, something that's working right now in our market, not something that worked 6 months ago, a year ago, or 20 years ago. By the time you're done with this 12-month program, you should be black belts doing 25 deals or more a year. So follow along, subscribe to my channel, Taekwondo Realtor, and we'll see you there. Thank you.
All right, welcome to another edition of Seizing Safety. My name is Barry Overton.
And I'm Dawna Hetzler, and we are so excited to be here. You are my anti-crime partner, right? I mean, we're out there trying to make awareness to our fellow real estate agents and just to get everybody's mind thinking a little bit different. And I'm excited about today because we're going to talk about mindset in this. Gosh, we're on our third video already.
Yeah.
Wow. So we're going to talk about alerts and yellow alerts and what does that mean and what is the color system and what is yellow, right? So
Yeah.
we're just going to talk about this whole idea of awareness and mindset. And this is a great place to be, especially in today's times. We need to be aware of what's going on around us at all times. And gosh, we were joking off camera about, the different colors in the system,
Yeah.
and we'll go through that in just a second. I'll let you explain. But you had said when you're on vacation, you're on green alert, right? And I'm like, no, I'm never on green alert, ever. I'm always on yellow. Even when I sleep, I'm like, one eye open, right? So why don't we talk about the colors and of safety and kind of just get educated at the basics here.
Yeah, so I'm going to break down what these different levels of alert look like, and then Dawna is actually going to be able to share with you a story and give you an idea of how you can go from one level of alertness to the next. So it really comes down to 4 different colors: green, yellow, orange, and red. Green being the most, where I like to give an example of, this is when you're on vacation, you're on the beach, you got the pina colada in hand, and nothing to worry about. There's no worry, no care in the world.
That's my husband.
Oh, yeah.
He's on green, and I'm like, did you see that? That
Yeah.
person's over there. And he's like, oh my gosh, are you serious? We're on
Yeah.
vacation. I'm like, no, you're always watching. So green,
Yeah.
vacation.
And then we have yellow alert, which is a step up. You're still in a comfortable state, but you have a level of awareness of your surroundings, what's going on in that particular moment. Next, we have orange alert. Orange is where there's been something that has occurred that has triggered something in you to feel like, okay, I need to be more attentive to my surroundings or the people that are around me at this particular moment. And that's again where you're starting to listen to your gut. You have some intuition where the hairs on the back of your neck are standing up, things of that nature. And then we have red alert. This is when the crap has just hit the
It's like,
fan.
oh no, now what?
Yeah, and you have to go into, it's a fight or flight mode that you go into in that moment, and you're responding to whatever is in front of you, whatever the threat may be at that point. Now, you give a great story of how going on vacation, again, how you just mentioned, you never go on green, and you are in this place of yellow or orange.
Right.
And you talked about before the incident that occurred with you last year in August, you had just come back from a vacation.
Right.
Can you
And I
share
didn't get
more?
no green alert on my vacation. Seems like my last few, I've been on yellow. But I was with my best buddy, Julianne, and her and I take a trip every single year. We do a girls' trip, and last year we went to Nashville. And I am a concealed carry owner, and I declared my firearm, and I took it with us on vacation. And I just figured, we 2 women are going to be on the road. We were going all across the state of Tennessee. We're from Nashville to Memphis and the Smoky Mountains and all over. And rental car, you never know if something's going to break down or who you're going to encounter, right? So I declared my firearm. I took it with me and carried the whole time. And so when I came back from that trip, I just kind of took this exhale, Barry. I was like, whew, home safe in Denver. And I'm good. Julianne's back home safe. All I have to do is protect me. We're good now. And so that was a Saturday before the open house attack, and then that following Sunday was the open house. And so, of course, my mind is a little bit on the trip and the great time we had and different things that we shared, and, you know, getting ready to just another day at work, going to an open house. And so I would say I was off on my yellow alert just a little bit, because I didn't want to hear those intuition signals that were alerting me from that knock on the door was my first intuition signal, and my alert was just a little bit off there. And I chose to ignore that for whatever reason, probably coming down from that fun vacation. And so I'd say I went to a very dull yellow that day. How's that?
Yeah.
Yes. So then at the open house, you'll have to go back and watch video 1 if you haven't seen my story, and I share the full story of the open house day. And but as I let this person in, they came in and we started talking, and then we merged at the stairs together in this awkward position. And I'd already had my first yellow alert signal. I had that tightening in my gut from the knock on the door. But then we get to the stairs, the bottom of the stairs, and we're in this awkward position. And I chose to make the first step. And I know I'm not supposed to have somebody behind me. I'm always supposed to, you know, be aware of my exits and how I would get out. And I made that first step. And so, like you said, I started tweaking. I realized the moment I made that first step. And so then I turned, you know, and faced the guy and walked up kind of sideways up the stairs and talked to him. And in our discussions, here comes that intuition again. My gut tightened a little bit more. So by the time I had 3 intuition signals, and by the time I'm at the top of the stairs, I actually am now on orange alert, because there was 3 signals that my gut told me something's not right. And so I still don't feel like my life's in danger. I'm not on that red alert, but I'm heightened now. And so what I'm going to do is when I go into the master bedroom, I'm going to make space. I'm going to get on the other side of the bed. I have no choice. The exit is where he is standing. I'm going to make that space. And then it just all went down right then and there. And so, like you said, like everything's happening at once. I go from yellow to orange. Now I'm on red, and everything's just happening in a split second.
Yeah.
And so that's where the training came in. And we're going to talk about training in our 4th video and get a little bit more into that. But it's super important to stay on those alerts all the time.
Yeah.
And it can be exhausting, you know, as a former police officer. Like, you go to a restaurant, right? Where do we sit when we're on yellow alert with our back to, you know, something secure? We're looking at the front door to see who's coming in at all times. We're kind of, you know, surveying the area, who's in the restaurant or who's in the grocery store.
Yeah.
Or what have you. So it's that heightened alert. And it's all your fault, Kimberly Christian, for getting me started with yellow alert and tactical training. She is the one who started talking to me long before I got my concealed carry and firearm training. Is a very strong woman, Kimberly Christian, and she started talking to me about yellow alert. She's like, if you do nothing else, I want you to be aware every single day, because awareness can just save your life alone.
Yeah. And I love when you share that story, because number one, it shows you talk about being at a dull yellow and going to fire engine red,
yes,
you know, in a matter of probably less than 2 minutes.
Right.
And what's valuable about that is I know that there are people in the general public, but also real estate agents that could have gone through that same scenario that you went through, and they would have started at green, they would have been at the top of the stairs at green, and they would have been in that room at green, and they would have been in that room as a victim at that moment. So it's so valuable. I always say that I hate that this happened to you last year, but if it had to happen to anyone, I'm glad it was you, as crazy as that sounds, because he messed with the wrong person.
That's right. Not today. We're going to have that attitude of not today. But this isn't just for women. This is for men too.
Yeah.
I see so many men on green all the time. And dude, you are not on vacation every single day. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So, you know, how do we get men to be like a little more alert? And there's a lot of men who are alert, and you guys are awesome. Like, you're a protection, right? Men are just bigger and badder and built better, right? You're built to protect. And so how do we get men to be a little bit more aware?
Well, you know, I can tell you that size, as weird as it sounds, size does not matter.
Oh, we're not going there.
But again, it does come down to training because
Yeah.
again, you can have someone that same situation. We put them in your situation,
Right.
being a male, my size, that is the key word complacent. You've done thousands of open houses. You get this knock at the door. Yeah, it's a weird knock, but you're a guy, so you open it. There's another guy there, and you start going up the stairs, and you're not sensitive to the cues that he's giving you that I'm going to attack you. And you get into that room, and he makes a decision. I don't care if this guy is bigger than me or not. I got a knife and bear spray. I'm going to take him out.
Right.
And so it doesn't matter the size, you know, really in that situation. And when someone understands, as a male or female, that again, it doesn't matter that he was bigger than you. Honestly, it probably, you know, the fact that he had a knife is good that you brought a gun to a gunfight instead of the other way around.
Right.
But again, it could have been one of those situations, if it was hand to hand and you had training for, you know, jiu-jitsu or Krav Maga, whatever the case may be, you are better protected than the person that doesn't have that training.
Yes.
So the awareness is key, but it also comes down to the training as well.
Absolutely. And we're going to talk more about different ways to defend yourself in the next video, because it doesn't matter to us how you defend yourself. We just want you to be aware and to find a tactic that works for you where you can protect yourself or potentially your family. You bring up a good point with the guys. So I had a conversation with another male realtor, and like I said, you guys are awesome, and just having men's presence changes the whole dynamic of a situation. You know, he probably wouldn't have tried to attack me if you were standing there, you know, in the kitchen with me. Chances are. But I had this guy who was a little, you know, puffy chested, and he was like, you know, babe, if you were with me at that open house, you know, this wouldn't have happened. And I said, you know, I respect that. I definitely respect that men bring a different presence, right, to the whole scenario. But I said, what is your game plan? You know, do you have any type of training? He's like, no, just my presence would have done it. Yeah. And I said, you know, I said to him, so let me give you this scenario. You and I walk into a grocery store, and there's a gunman that comes in with a big shotgun. What are you doing in your presence going to help me? I conceal carry. Now you're a liability to me, right? And I'm defending you while you're screaming like a girl. So, you know, for me, it's more about, you know, if you're at an open house or doing something, you've got a plan together. Yeah. And you've got somebody who's got some training, and you kind of are on the same track of thinking, and you're on that yellow alert together and doing those things together. And I know we'll dig into that a little bit more in our next video, but what do you say? What do you say to that?
Yeah, and I think we can close it out with really just talking about the complacency aspect of it. One thing in law enforcement, as a police officer, complacency was something you could never allow to creep in. When you're a police officer and you do traffic stops multiple times, you get to a place where this is just a normal average stop, and then it's that one stop that when you walk up, you're looking at the barrel of a gun.
Oh, you know? Wow.
And it's no different in real estate. We live in a world, in a society now where these attacks happen. If you Google real estate agent attacked, and you can find countless number of stories on it. Yeah, it's not as prevalent as an officer, say, injured in the line of duty or whatnot, but the bottom line is, what we have is the fact that it happens, and we can be the victims of a robbery or something like that in that nature. So
you think that complacency is more of a guy thing or a girl thing too? I mean, I became a little complacent because my head was in Nashville, right? So would that be a complacency thing?
I think it's a human thing.
Okay.
I think when we do something and it's a routine and we do it over and over and over, we just become used to the routine.
Yes.
And it's that one person that comes in and creates the disruption that we don't necessarily want, that can change our entire life.
Wow.
In that situation. So I think, you know, with the alertness, there definitely comes the idea of never becoming complacent.
Right. No, that's a really good point. And I'd love to share some scenarios like, what does this yellow alert, being on yellow alert, look like in a daily, schedule? Like, what does that look like? So for me, one of the things is coming to my office, and, we're in the Denver Tech Center, fairly safe place, right? But when I get out of my car, I'm always aware. So I'm on yellow alert. My doors are locked in the car, right? And then I will do a check around me, and I'll just see, is there anybody out in the parking lot? What are my surroundings? And then I will get out of the car, and we have reflective mirrors on our building. And so that is not a good place to check out my hair or to see how, if there's lipstick on my teeth or something, right? That is a place where it is an opportunity to see who is around you. Is there somebody else that just got out of a car? And you can use that reflection to your advantage.
Yeah.
And so just utilizing everything. When I'm at a stoplight, I always have distance. Probably, police officers teach that too, not to get so close up onto somebody that you can't get out of a lane and move. And watching who's behind you. And I was at a drive-through, and there was, I'm just watching, and my husband's there, and we're talking and whatever. And I see out of my driver's side passenger mirror, there's this guy behind me, and he jumps out of the car really fast. And the car in front of me was just taking off, so I lunge a little bit just to give myself enough room to see what this guy's doing. And he just had to push his hood down or something. And my husband's like, again, what's up with you? But it's just that alertness and knowing, what's going on. That's not paranoia. That's like, okay, what if something goes down? I'm on this higher alert. I just need to be prepared in any situation.
Yeah, and I think because of your training and much of my training as well, that we're probably an anomaly when it comes to that. Not many people think in that way. Right. But when you say that, it takes me back to thinking of, especially Colorado and going to a movie these days.
True.
I don't go to a movie normally anymore without sitting down in the chair and thinking of, what if? And what's the exit strategy? How do I protect whoever's with me, whether it's my son, my wife, or both of them? All the different things. I literally go through that scenario when I sit down in a movie. I do that when I go to a restaurant, and everything is fine. There's nothing going on. So I'm in a conscious state of yellow. And the minute one weird thing happens, I already take it up to orange.
Right.
And
you're on.
So, and I think it's always, one of the things as a police officer that I learned is you take it up to a higher level. And it may be too much, but again, from an alert standpoint, you can always bring it back down.
Yes.
But you don't want to have to try and all of a sudden bring it up.
Yes.
Because you put yourself in a bad situation. The level of alertness, and this is something that over time that you learn. I think, honestly, people that have been victims of crimes where force has been used, this is something that starts to become ingrained in them. It's almost post-traumatic stress,
Sure.
or it is post-traumatic stress to a certain degree. But if you can learn how to use it for prevention of, upcoming something that may occur, it will protect you.
Yep, absolutely. And, being on all the time can be exhausting, on a yellow alert all the time. And so it's kind of nice because when I go out to lunch with my friend, Kimberly, I was talking about, I'm like, girl, you're on. I'm done. You face the door, right? Yeah. Or David will take breaks with me, my husband. He'll be on, so we kind of have these on-offs where I get a break from all of that. But we're not here to scare you. We're here to aware you. We want you to be aware of your surroundings because there's a certain I hate, the word empowerment is so overused, but it empowers you to take control of your own destiny and to think differently and, to seize that safety like we talked about. It's taking hold of your outcomes in life and how that's going to transpire to other areas of your life. So it's all about just making you aware and trying some of this. Give it a whirl when you go out to a restaurant, and gals, you go out there and make sure you have your husband's back. If his back's to the door, you make sure he's good. And then when, your yellow alert gets a little exhausting, trade it, So it's good to always be aware and on alert, and that's what we're trying to do, is spread this awareness, because this is really, I feel, the second level of mine is intuition first. Some people would say that the alert color system is first. I like intuition because the body will tell you right away, but you do still have to be aware, right? So we need this color system and to be on yellow alert. So these are two different, if you didn't see intuition, go back and see video 2 on intuition and how just your intuition can protect you, or just being on alert and being aware out in our surroundings, how that can protect you. You don't necessarily need to carry something in order to be safe, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And as we used to say when I was in the military and Operation Desert Storm, stay alert, stay alive.
Yes.
So we want to thank you again for joining us for our video series, Seizing Safety. Hopefully this is something that you got value out of and that you can put to use in your, whether it's as a real estate agent, mortgage broker, or whatever industry that you're in. This is something that we should all be using, this level of alertness to be able to protect ourselves.
Well, thank you for joining in. I'm Dawna Hetzler.
And I'm Barry Overton. And thank you for joining us for Season Safety.
Yes, only you can keep you safe. Join us for our next video 4. See you soon.
What you waiting for?